Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Now we are on to the discussion on state of the nation. What's really happening in Kenya in the political space, especially over the weekend, what has happened. And we have been joined by some experts to help us in this particular discussion. And one of these faces, or both of them actually, are familiar to you. I'll start with Dr. Casypool. He's here in the house. Casypool, karibu sana.
Shukran, but ningependa kubadilisha kidogo, kurekebisha. Niliconvert, sasa naitwa Alhaj Yakub Maalim Weli.
Turudie tena. Pole pole sasa. Rudia pole pole.
Alhaj Yakub Maalim Weli.
Alhaj, hata nikiandika ni kazi. Alhaj
Yakub means Jacob. Lakini sasa kwa nini Islamic wanaita Yakub? Yakub. Ni Yakub, but tunaka Yakub. And then unasema Maalim Weli. Weli, W-E-L-I.
Alhaj Yakub Maalim Weli.
Bas,
nimeipata. Wacha tutarudia hiyo. Wacha tuende tena kwa Peter Njeru. Karibu sana. He's the chairman of Utawala Ward.
Chairman of Utawala Ward. And a businessman here in Nairobi.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Glad to have you on the show again.
Thank you too.
All right. So, nimezoea Casypool, it take some time. So, Alhaj Yakub.
Alhaj. Okay, sema Yakub.
Yes. Yakub iko sawa. So it takes some getting used to kwa sababu all right. So that's your new identity, inspiration.
Yeah.
How was the journey like? Najua story ni different, lakini kuliendaje? What happened?
Unajua decision make, unajua spiritual decisions sio kitu unaweza kuongea. I decided to become a Muslim 4 months ago, converted, and then I traveled to Makkah. Amen. So the name Al-Hajj came from Makkah. When you go to Makkah, you come back, you are Al-Hajj. That is a holy land. You go there not to go, like, unaenda kutembea kuona wildlife, no. You go to pray. So I was in Makkah and Medina for 14 days. And then I became Alhaj Yakub Maalim Weli.
Okay.
I'm proud to be Muslim. And yeah,
all right.
That's Casypool for you. Alhaj Yakub.
So no
Yakub means Jacob. And of course it's Jacob. Jacob ni mtu alibarikiwa hata kwa Biblia. Maalim Weli is like a spiritual father to me. When I joined Muslim, he welcomed me and he gave me the name Maalim Weli.
All right.
So Kevin Onyango Dhiambo.
Umekata kabisa.
Nimekata. In fact, naanza process hata kubadilisha documents. Because nataka ni 2027 kwa mapenzi ya Mwenyezi Mungu, God willing, I'll become the governor of Nairobi.
Wow.
So lazima mkienda pale kwa ballot box mnakutana na Alhaj Yakub Maalim Weli. Inshallah.
Allah. Okay. So tuzoee hiyo jina. Mapema. Ndio kwa ballot watu
zoea gavana wako mapema.
Sasa zoea gavana wako mapema. Yeah. Okay. Acha tuingie kwa what's happening and tuambie now even your perspective as an aspirant, a hopeful for 2027. Kenya, there's been a lot happening in the political space. Kumekuwa na over the weekend bishops they sat down na wakasema what the president is doing and the government is that they are lying to Kenyans na hawako in touch with what the people on ground are facing. Wakongelea mambo ya SHA, a lot of things. Now the bishop said SHA itolewe hata irudishwe NHIF, among many other things that they said. And tena on Sunday, was it on Sunday? On Saturday rather, tukapatana the bishops during I think an ordination walikuwa wote. We saw the former president Uhuru Kenyatta tuko na President Ruto, the Deputy President Kithure Kindiki. I interchange the two. And the former Deputy President, again, Jigiji was also there. Wote walipatana. It was quite the scene. Now, you know, what the former president said, yeye kazi yake sasa ni kukaa kuona TV na kusikiza radio. And also Rigiji echoed the same thing. So what is your own perspective on what is happening in the country? Acha nianze na wewe Peter.
Yeah, the happening in the country are an indication of the true status on the ground. There is clearly a disconnect in information flow from the top to bottom, and also from bottom up. Both sides, there is no proper flow of information. When we take a review of the situations of last week, it started by the conference of bishops of Catholic churches, who also gave a scorecard in their view concerning the performance of the government. And it was a gloomy picture that they painted to the country, and rightfully so, in view of the available information. Then on Saturday, there was the meeting in Embu for all the current and former leaders, like you have rightfully observed. The sitting president was there with his deputy, Professor Kithure Kindiki. The former president, Uhuru Kenyatta, with the former vice president, Reggie, the immediate former vice president, also there. So it was a powerful delegation. When you look at the Catholic Church, there were all the leadership of the Catholic Church, including a representative from Rome. So that was the most powerful delegation of spiritual leaders that there can be, talking about the Catholic denomination. And the spirit that oozed from that gathering on Saturday also painted a gloomy picture. Needless to say, the Wananchi were there, the Catholic faithfuls, who also had a chance to express their frustrations and appreciation to both our current and former leadership. There was a clear signal that all is not well on the ground, and rightfully so. Every corner of the country is at pain because of the hard economic times, because of the continued government policies that seem to put more pressure on the available very little income to every household. And therefore, because there is an information gap, there is a knowledge gap between the leadership and the common citizen, that whatever the leadership of the country is trying to achieve is not clear to the common Mwananchi, and the expectation of Mwananchi is not clear to the leadership. And this was correctly said by the president when we had the Gen Z demonstrations against the Finance Bill 2024-2025, and which led to the withdrawal of the bill. The president himself agreed that he was not fully briefed, that he was not aware what was happening on the ground, that the general citizen, majority of them were against this bill. And in accepting and aligning himself to what the citizens wanted, he withdrew that bill totally.
Yes.
So what I want to observe is that I have been very supportive to our government, and I have been watching what has been happened. I want to observe before this country this morning that our leadership has the best intentions. President Ruto wants the best for the country. He wants the country to move forward. He wants us to overcome the burden of debts that were borrowed before he came into power. But the weakness we have is that the communication of his intention and strategies is not trickling effectively down to the common Mwananchi so that we can buy in to his ideologies and agenda. And then the hardship on the ground, the nature of it, the reduced income per family, the high taxes that has depleted the little income that was there, has made every home unable to meet their basic supplies, basic needs. The high taxation and now the additional taxes talk about the housing levy, talk about the this SHA, Social Health Insurance Fund, and the Social Health Agency. That 1.5%, 2.5%, talk about NSSF now, which has also brought a fair burden to those that are in the high income bracket. So all this information, all these taxes are raiding onto an already low income. And therefore, when you look at the net take-home wage for every Kenyan, it has gone down. In my view, what should have happened, first of all, we should have prepared ground for higher taxation. Then we introduce the high tax once people have more income, more money in their pocket. But you cannot introduce tax first, hoping that the economy will grow and people will earn more. Because these people may not be, does not have the luxury of time to pay more and wait to reap in future. We would rather reap now to be able to afford today's sukuma wiki than be unable to afford today's sukuma wiki with an intention or a hope of being able to afford chicken 5-10 years to come. So that's the mismatch I'm seeing, that there's no proper appreciation of the real potential of the ordinary person to be able to meet the needs of these increased taxes, in my view.
So that is well said. So you feel that the taxes are too much on the people and the government has not implemented this the right way, right? And I'll get back to you to give more, to expound on it better. But Casypool, what is your view? Unaonaje what the government is doing, what the people are saying, political climate, what is your take?
First of all, wacha nishukuru sana for the first time the clergy, the religion leaders, for the first time wameongea. Tumekuwa tukiingojea sana. Way back kuanzia majenzi walikuwa wamenyamaza, hawaongei. I don't know what happened, but for the first time ever tunaona wanatoka wanasema kwamba wana point out, wanasema hii ni wrong, hii ni right. Tuli expect hiyo kutoka kwao kama viongozi wa dini. But nataka nikumbushe religion leaders ni ya kwamba hii ni collective responsibility. Huwezi kwenda kuambia president ya kwamba wewe umefail hii nchi. Kuna government, kuna legislator ni independent institution. Kuna hii ya koti inaitwa judiciary. Ni independent. Sasa tuna devolution ambapo magovernors pia wako huko chini wanapewa budget. Tuko na ma MPs, tuko na ma MCAs. Now tukifocus kwa president peke yake, tunaambia president nchi imeharibika. Unasahau ya kwamba pia kuna watu ambao president hayuko in control of them. Kama ma governors, kama ma MPs, and nobody is talking about these people. Wamekaa tu wametulia wanaangalia. I was disappointed. There is an investor who came all the way from Dubai. I brought him here with a private jet. He wanted to invest heavily. One of the staff mentioned your county. Na alikuwa ana pump in billions and billions of shillings. He flew in Nairobi, tukachukua chopa, tukaenda tukamwona. Tukakaa one on one, tukaongea. Jamaa akasema 70% mtaprocure hapa local, 30 kwa sababu tunataka tumeti ile nini yetu tutatoa nje. But I'm going to pump in money na to make sure kwamba tume create employment ya vijana over 1,000 to 2,000 youths kwa waandikwe kwa hiyo construction, and then kuna wenye kwa waandikwe kwa hiyo hoteli na kufanya kazi. Kitu nye governor alituuliza kama tumeketi pale, what is in for me?
Wow. Okay.
Problem is not the president. Problem ni leaders wote wenye tumeelect sisi. Na tukaweka kwa hizo viti. Na tukaamuka asubuhi tukawapelekea kura kwa sababu of political party, kwa sababu huyu ni mtoto wa auntie yetu, kwa sababu huyu ni clan wetu, kwa sababu huyu ni tribe yangu. We have failed. Na hii nchi imeangushwa not na viongozi na nyinyi wenye mnawachagua. Unapata point? Kesho Casypool akisema anasimama kura, atasema wewe clan yako ni gani? Who is your father? Wewe mbona tunakujua tu wewe ni mtu wa social media, mbona hauna ya kutupea? 1,500 ya kutupea, but you don't elect leaders based on ile kitu nye wanaweza kufanyia wananchi. So wacha kucomplain kama mwananchi. Wewe ndo umejifail mwenyewe. Umia mpaka 2027, make decisions ni right, vote for the right leaders, na inatosha hivyo. So every day you wake up in the morning mnasema bibi akikunyima kwa nyumba ni president amefanya. Ukipenduka unaendesha baiskeli, umepiga portal, umeanguka chini, oh president amefanya. Let's not to blame president, to blame wao viongozi wenu, wale governor wamefanya nini? MP wako amefanya nini? MCA wako amefanya nini? Huyu cabinet mwenye mlisukuma mkasema huu ni kabila yetu, lazima muweke kwa cabinet. Amefanya nini kama cabinet?
Lakini sasa tukiangalia hiyo, isn't the president, isn't he the boss of these others? Isn't he the overall leader when you tunaangalia and make sure that these people are in check? And for the CSs, Sini, it's the president who has selected them, appointed them for those particular positions. Now they are, as much as yes, they have they're accountable to the people directly, but they're also accountable to the president. What are you doing in your county? What are you doing in your constituency? Things are not working. The president should make sure, because he is the vision bearer of the government. So don't you think ni right, even the clergy, what you blame the president, your government is not working, you are lying to the people, because the president we will do this and this and this, but they have not seen the president doing this and this and that, because maybe his system is not working for the people.
The system is not working because inaanza kutoka chini. Unapatia point? A president anaweza control governor, kama ukijua hivyo, na akijaribu kumcontrol ama kujaribu kuniona sema kwamba this is political, unapiga mtu vita. President anaweza control to cabinet secretaries, wenye bado hata sahi kwa hii broad based government bado ukimtoa bado kuna vita itatokezea. What I'm saying is this, hii kitu ni vile narudi back kwa hiyo kitu tunaongelea, ni ya kwamba wale viongozi ambao you people have elected, mkiwasifia, mkiwapenda, labda alikuja amenyoa ndevu vizuri kama wasichana mkampigia kura, labda kuna vile mnasema kwa kuna dimples mkampigia kura kwa sababu sitaki kumention jina. Wakiwa fail, stop blaming the president.
Okay.
And I'm not being like na support president at no hapana. There is a leader in Tanzania anaitwa RC Paul Makonda. Alikuwa banned ku travel in the US because alisema hasupport tabia yenye inaitwa, wacha niseme, ushoga. And I stood firm. Na akamwambia why? Kwa sababu watu wanatamani kwenda Marekani sana. Wewe mbona utamani? Akasema siku nyako anapigana na hawa watu, mtoto akwanga amezaa mtoto, lakini akajiuliza maswali ya kwamba kesho mimi nikezaa mtoto mwanaume, alafu akuja amepaka lipstick na amebeba high heels na amebeba kibeti na ameleta mwanaume mwenzake kwa nyumba, anasema daddy ndo husband wangu, how will I feel? I'd rather lose kwenda Amerika ambao ni Marekani kuliko ni support kitu kama hiyo. Viongozi wetu wako hapa Kenya wenye wanaanza kusimama waseme ya kwamba tunataka kupigana na corruption. Afadhali nipoteze kitu yote nipigane na corruption. Afadhali nipoteze kitu yote nisaidie wananchi. Wao wana ubinafsi. Na hiyo ubinafsi hatuwa blame kwa sababu wewe ulishapewa pesa yako 1000 bob na ukavote. So stop blaming it. Tusikae hapa tuongee kizungu mingi, tuchanganye mambo hivi, tuweke hivi pole pole. No. Kitu nyeiko ni ya kwamba shida inaanza na wewe kama mpiga kura. Na shida hata tukikaa hapa tuiongee, miaka nenda kalenda, miaka rudi, kama tutaanza na wewe kwa kuchagua the right MCA, kwa kuchagua the right MP, kwa kuchagua the right governor, senator, women rep na president, then tutaongea maneno kama kawaida. Na ndo maana leo hii tunaongea, leo hii Tanzania iko mbele ya Kenya.
Tanzania iko mbele. Hiyo tutarudi. Hiyo lazima tutarudi. So according to my data, Kenya na jet iko mbele as much as tuna complain, lakini tutarudi tuambie reason yako ni gani. Peter, what do you think of what Yakub has said on all these matters? Do you think that the people are the ones to blame for the state of the nation? Because that's what he has alluded to. Ni sisi tuliwachagua, so tusicomplain mpaka 2027. Mambo ya maandamano, watu watulie. Mambo ya kusema president is lying, watu wa relax. We chose
Yakub has raised very fundamental issues, and in my perspective, there are areas of convergence between my viewpoint and his viewpoint. There are also areas of divergence between my viewpoint and his viewpoint. Where we converge is that the leadership we have is a reflection of our society. Better said that we are the people that put the leadership we have in place because they reflected our aspirations. And therefore, it is not very wise for us to again be on overdrive to castigate that which we chose for ourselves. And at that point, I really agree with what Yakub is saying. However, the presidency is a symbol of national unity and also reflects the aspirations of our country. And so again, we may not exonerate our president and the entire presidency and all leadership from the things we are experiencing as a nation, because the policies we are finding is actually at the forefront of driving them for a good reason. For example, when you look at the housing levy, the 1.5%, then onto that you add the NHIF, or rather the SHIF levy, 2.75%. That gives us 4.25% deduction. Then on that you add NSSF, which is 6%. That gives us 10.25%. So that deduction is quite high in view of the fact that our income has not proportionately grown to that level. And for us to afford that, it would mean that our income has not just grown proportionally to that level, should have grown more, so that after deduction, we also get an increase in our net take home. And that's what I mentioned when we started this talk, that first we needed to have made sure the economy has improved somehow, and the net take home for everyone has increased, so that then we start incrementally introducing more taxes. That would have been very good idea. And therefore, for those decisions, I may not entirely want to exonerate the president from them, but I would want to put him in it because everything rises and falls on leadership. Consequently also, I would want to observe that the president is a vision bearer. Vision bearer is never all the time the implementer of the vision. Around him there is a team, a group of consultants and advisors who are supposed to tell him, His Excellency, yes, we want to achieve this, but we may not be able to achieve this within this financial year, within the next 2 or 3 financial years, because of 1, 2, 3. To lay the foundation for this vision that we have to begin here. We have to begin here systematically for this number of time. Once these results are realized, we introduce this tax. Once these are realized, to introduce, and the tax, you don't just drop it like just drop from heaven. You start small and you grow it incrementally year after year. So we needed to have come probably with a blueprint for 50 years and systematically start putting the foundation now. We may not start building now. We need to start doing the foundation. Remember, when you're doing the foundation, you're not going up. You start going down. And when you go down, when you look at the depth of the foundation, you can always tell the height of that building. The deeper the foundation, the higher the building. And therefore, our president has great vision for this country. He wants the best for this country. He wants us to be in the leagues of Singapore and Malaysia. He wants us to move even to the first world. But how long can we realize that? That question can only be answered by people who are experts in that area of economic development. It is not right to go to South Africa, see what they are doing today, and import it to Kenya today. They started 50 years ago to be where they are today. So where do we start as Kenyans? That's the question that the people around the president have not been able to effectively explain to him, so that we have a clear way forward that will help the country to move forward in a way that every citizen is happy. So in my view, I disagree with Yakub that the president should not be held accountable. I disagree. But I agree that we need to have a structured approach to the things that we're seeing being done very quickly with an intention of wanting to have instant results. And I don't blame the president for that. I blame his economic advisors.
Okay. So you don't blame the president, you blame his economic advisors
And before
for
I close,
pushing things.
in the last show that I was here, I put the blame on taxes squarely on the former CAs for finance, Professor Jigona Ndungo. And less than 3 weeks later, he was fired. So the problem is not the president. The problem is that President ES has not been given proper advice by those around him.
Okay, so you're saying the president is not the problem, it's the people around him, the advisors around him. And Yakub has said the problem is not the president, the problem is the people who elected the leaders.
I also observed that
Yeah.
Our leadership is a reflection of ourselves because we are the people that elected. So again, according to Yakub, we agree on that point.
Okay, so still the blame is still on the people who elected these leaders.
Yes.
Now, if the people want a change, and that's what people wanted in June when they rejected the finance bill, people came out and went to the streets, and it was dropped. And now people are still complaining. I want to bring Yakub into this. So when you go on X, you'll find a hashtag Occupy Parliament trending for 21st. And we know very well that on 21st is when the president is going to give a joint parliamentary address to the nation. So what are your thoughts on this? Are people really realistic on going out for maandamano ama watu wangoja bado mpaka 2027? Yakub,
unajua my sister, acha nikwambie mimi ni victim mkubwa sana wa Gen Z, kwa sababu you remember very well I lost even my brand together with my brother Karji the Don. Sisi ndo watu ambao tulisema no, we're not going to support this, going out there mwende mpigwe risasi mumwage damu, sisi hatuko hapo. And tuli lose my fans, lakini with the time walirudi kwa sababu walijua hawa watu wako sober na wanafikiria. During Gen Z demonstration tulikuanga na mambo mawili: twende kwa street tuambie mafans wetu twendeni kwa street, na wangetoka, kwa sababu trust me, brand yenye ilikuanga na lead by then ni mimi na KRG the Don. Na hata bado kama after hiyo bado sisi ni wazito. Not only in Kenya but outside Kenya, ukienda Congo, ukienda Tanzania, bado sisi ni wazimbiti. And we had that conversation na KRG, tukasema to lead our watoto waende kwa street, wapigwe risasi, wafanye kitu ambao haifai, ama tukae tuambia kwamba msiende kwa street. We made that decision na tukasema hatu support kwenda kwa demonstration. Demonstration inaleta hasara, inaleta biashara kufungwa, inaleta umwagaji wa damu. Tukasema no, wewe kama ni fan wetu, kama unataka kutuacha tuache, wewe nenda. I'm not supporting anything to do with demonstration, kwa sababu tufanye demonstration, turudi kitu nye tumetengeneza for 2 years inamalizwa na 1 day. Ama maisha mtoto wa mtu ipotee kwa sababu Casypool anataka kukua na jina. I'm a parent, I have kids. Siko tayari kushika damu kwa mkono wangu, but I'm ready to lose my name or my brand. Kwa sababu it's not about Casypool akuwe na jina kubwa alafu nizae watoto ambao wanakuwa mashoga, watoto ambao wanatumia cocaine, wanakuwa useless, wanatoa mate kwa sababu nilimwaga damu ya mtoto wa mtu kwa street. Unapatia point? The best way, kama unasikia umeudhika, imekufika kwa koo, tuko na 2 years. Make the right decision that you want to make. Enda kwa ballot, chukua kura, hiyo mbio nyoko nayo, chukua nao kura.
Okay.
Enda upige laini na vote ule kiongozi una feel ni kiongozi bora zaidi ya huyu mwenye uko nayo. Unapatia point? Lakini twende, president anaenda ku address the nation, tumeenda parliament, next itakuwa ni nini? Tuingie hiyo parliament, and then kuna askari ambao ana protect ya kwamba hii parliament watu wasiingie, amuvunje hiyo gate, next ni nini? Risasi inalia. Are you ready to lose your sister? Are you ready to lose your brother? Are you ready to lose your relative because ya demonstration? Hakuna nchi ambao kuna kwanga na vita inasimama. Go to Congo, waulize vita ni nini, watakwambia ndo tunaijua paka leo hii. Hakuna stability. Enda Rwanda tu, jaribu kusema wewe ni Mtusi ama Mhutu, utamalizwa, kwa sababu wanaume walichinjwa over 1 million. Today tuna experience ya kwamba in Rwanda, the only place, the only country in East Africa, out of wasichana 9 unapata 6 ni bikira, 3 ndo wametembea mileage. Inamaanisha kuna wanaume kwa hiyo nchi. Unapatia point? Unapatia point? Wacha kucheka hiyo. So yote 5-9 ni ya kwamba watu walichinjwa na wanajua shida ya vita ni nini. Hii Tanzania hii waliingia tu vita kidogo na Uganda, walijua uzito. Kitu ya 1 year, kitu ya some months ilijengwa na 10 years kurudisha. Mpaka Nyerere akasema kumbe vita sio kitu mzuri. Hakuna siku nye vita itazaa kitu ya maana. Na demonstration ni nini? Si ni kuingia kupiga kelele, watu wakae kwa nyumba wasifanye biashara, wewe usitoke kuja hapa hivi kutangaza. At the end of the day utarudi kukula demonstration. So mimi ninasema, na tuko ready ku lose brand, ni ya kwamba tuwache hii maneno ku demonstrate, kwenda kwa street. Chukua time yako, 2 years hautakufa. Tulia, ngojea ballot box, ungoje 2027. Na kitu ya kushangaza, vijana ambao ni watoto wetu ambao wanatoka pale nje, siku ya kura mimi nikipiga line siwaonangi. We want our right. We want our right. Wewe mtoto mwenye hujai kupiga takuru, umelala kwa sofa set ya mamako for the past 4 years. Hata una kura. Unaenda kupigania right gani ambao unasema unaenda kupigania? Na wewe mwenyewe hujai chukua takuru ukasema kwamba leo nataka ku make sure ya kwamba Casypool amenichosha na nataka kumfundisha adabu kwa debe. Nene nipige kura na ni make right decision. So mimi siku kwa hiyo maneno 21st hiyo kuenda kwa barabara hai solve anything. Uko na mtandao, wewe ongea kwenye mitandao. Na mitandao siku hizi ni very powerful hata kushinda kwa street. Na pia tukiongea tu exercise nidhamu. Kumbuka ukitusi president, kumbuka ukitusi kiongozi yote, kumbuka ni baba mtu. Tukue na respect kidogo pale kwenye mitandao. Kuna vitu usiongee kama unatafuta laana. Kama mtoto mwenye uko pale nyumbani, mtu akitusi babako utafikiria, utasikiaje? Naona vijana wadogo wanaandika we nini. Mimi nimetusiwa na watu wengi. Nikienda pale hivyo chini nikiangalia naona mtoto wa 16 years, mtoto rika ya mtoto wangu. Labda saa nyingine hata hajui, labda akiambiwa na mama yake, labda mimi ndo baba yake, kwa vile mwenye anajua baba mtoto ni mama. Labda hajui. Sasa wewe unatafuta laana kwa Casypool. Na labda saa nyingine Casypool alicheza muziki na mama yako. So tuheshimiane na tutembee vizuri na heshima na tungojee kiboko mzuri ya viongozi ni 2027. Na ndio unaonanga wanakuja kuomba kura, wanatembea paka wanatembea na tumbo wanaomba kura. Sasa anatembea na tumbo akikwambia naomba kura, unamwambia sasa sikiliza, tuongee tutakaje. La sio hivyo vimba na upige kura kiongozi ambao wewe unamtambua. Lakini hizi demonstration tuachane nazo.
Watu wa relax.
Watu wa relax.
So demonstration for you it's a no. Watu wangoje mpaka 2027. Na okay, so to you Peter, kuna just on what Casypool has said, or Yakub. So people are saying that it's their right to demonstrate. Iko kwa constitution, they should be demonstrating when they feel that they are suppressed and things are not working for them. They need it communicated. And when Maandamano was going on, they said it's a peaceful demonstration. They carried water and a flag, and that's how they went. And of course, in between, kulikuwa na wale watu walikam kuingililia kati na, you know, they looted and all that. But people feel like if they do not do this, then some right is taken away from them. What is your point of view? Ama, you agree with what you're
Good question. I am a firm proponent, a firm believer in the rule of law. And our constitution allows for peaceful demonstration and picketing. And this was very clearly said by the former CS for Interior, now the current Deputy President, Kithure Kindiki, that peaceful demonstration and picketing will actually have protection from the security agents. And what we experienced during the recent Gen Z demonstrations, that was not peaceful, it was not picketing, it was violence. And the reason for that is because though it started as peaceful, genuine demonstrators wanting to express their opinion, pass a message to our leadership, it got infiltrated by goons and crooks and gangsters. And the net effect was loss of property, loss of life, and general violence across the country. And the police had no option but to swing into action and stop that. And we also saw that there was also an attempt to bring the military into the city to restore peace. And therefore, having learned from that experience, knowing that picketing and demonstration can begin as peaceful, and later goons and thieves and crooks and gangsters infiltrate to start now causing mayhem and destruction, it makes no sense to imagine we can still start walking the same route again as a country. And therefore, from where I stand, I vigorously resist the idea of demonstration on Thursday. The timing for that is also not wise, because in the same day, the president is scheduled to address the nation from the parliament building. And when demonstrators say they want to occupy parliament, I think they are clearly trying to send a signal that they have a thirst for violence and that they have a thirst for that which is not lawful, because it would be, it may have the same DNA as what we experienced last June. And therefore, I would encourage all the young people, I have teenagers and youth in my house, I would encourage them not to make an attempt of stepping out, going to occupy parliament or any other place in the name of demonstration, because the risk of goons taking advantage of their presence and causing more trouble, and when police come in, they will not know this is the goon and this is the innocent demonstrator. All of them will be treated equally. During the last demonstration for Gen Z, I spoke to my children, and I have some influence around my community where I live. I told them that it makes no point to demonstrate. If we have issues, let us air them through the leadership. From the grassroots, we have elected leaders. We have MCAs, we have members of parliament, we have governors, we have local administrations. Let's take our grievances to them. But let's not go to town to cause mayhem, to mix with people, fundraising people's business. Imagine you have a small business at River Road and you've borrowed, say, 100K from a microfinance institution to put that business. But simply because people are not happy with the finance bill, they come and vandalize your business. They steal all your funds and you have nothing. Tomorrow, your creditor wants to be paid. What do? I think that's climax of ignorance to participate in such events. And I would encourage every young person to really detest and refuse to be used in this manner.
Okay.
Then talk about tax payment. I am a taxpayer. I have investment, I have employees, and my business is a good corporate citizen. I have every legitimacy to advocate for picketing and demonstrations. But I can assure you, majority of those people that are saying, let's go demonstrate because of high tax, they are not even taxpayers. They are goons. They are, people who are not good corporate citizens, but they can come and demonstrate. So the intention is not to demonstrate. The intention is to use it as an avenue to cause destruction and mayhem in the city.
All right. So you're saying a majority do not have the right cause in mind. They want to cause destruction. All right. So you can give your comments on this conversation, what you think. The hashtag is Why in the Morning. And to you, Yakub. So we have seen the president making statements, and people almost immediately online memes zinatokea, one or two things, and it's painted this picture that the president is a liar. Even what he said over the weekend, after what the bishop said, and now people say that he's lying. On the road he said he'll build, and all that. So now on Thursday he's supposed to make a statement, the address that he's going to make in Parliament. If you were to advise the president, what would you have him tell the public, and how would you have him tell the public so that it can be taken in good light?
I'm not worth advising the president. Hiyo siwezi kudanganya. I'm just loyal to the president, and I believe that the president akona mipango fiti sana ya Wakenya. Of course kumekuwa na outbreak ya uongo. na kila mtu especially wanaume wote wanadanganya sana. Kuna outbreak, kuna
So
disease.
outbreak ya uongo ni ya
Kuna outbreak, not with the president. Not with the president. Kuna uongo tu, outbreak ya uongo ambao
Kenya tu.
if you go and mheshimiwa kaa chini na watoto wa kike watakwambia wanaume ndo wanadanganya sasa. Kuna outbreak ile mbaya sana. Unapata tu mwanaume anaamuka asubuhi anasema kwamba kuna container yangu inatoka Mombasa na hajai hata kanyaga Mombasa mwenyewe, ama anadanganya msichana anamwambia unajua umekaa paka yole siku mingi, kuna deal yangu ikiivana na kupeleka Lavington. Kuna outbreak ya uongo. Ni lazima watu wamezee dawa na ni dawa lazima ikuwe, and this is very serious. And I want also to tell the minister, the cabinet secretary for health, I don't know ni mwanamke ama mwanaume,
Is a lady, yes.
Tafadhali treat kitu emergency. Kama kuna dawa watu wanaweza kumeza, wanaume ya uongo, watu wanadanganya. Watu wanadanganya. Kuna outbreak tu ya uongo. Yaani tu iko, hiyo iko. Watu wanadanganya to an extent paka tunaona ni kitu nye sasa imekuwa fun. Ukisikia watu wanasema uongo, wao pia ni wao. Ukiona watu wanasema kila kitu uongo, wamejua wao ndo wanadanganya. Sasa wanajua pia wakiambiwa ni uongo. Unapata hiyo point? So hiki kitu itutiwe na ni kitu nye lazima itutiwe kabisa. Watu kama wanaweza kuachilia kwanza malaria ingoje, wanaume wameze dawa ya uongo wapunguze. Na tulikuwa tunaongea na rafiki yangu anaitwa DJ Shiti. Akaniambia tafuteni madaktari. Waangalie vile hiyo kesi tatibiwaje. Because kuna uongo kwa viongozi wa dini, kuna uongo kwa viongozi ambao ni viongozi wa kisiasa, kuna uongo kwa wanaume tu wenye wanatembea town, kuna uongo na nyinyi wanawake mnaweza kutuambia, mnaweza attest ya kwamba kitu ninasema ni ukweli. Uongo. Hala sasa tumetokana uongo, vitu ambazo wanawake wako wanafanya kitu inaitwa fitina. Sasa wanaume ndio siku hizo wanaipiga sasa kushinda wanawake. Kushinda wanawake.
Unaona vile ananiuliza pia hiyo uongo iko kwako pia, wewe pia ni a victim.
Unajua mimi nilishaijua na nikajimezea dawa. Sasa nakwambia kuna outbreak ya uongo. So naweza tukwambia, naweza kuomba Rais William Samoei Ruto ya kwamba nchi imewaka moto na tunajua una nia mzuri na watu wa Kenya, lakini it's unfortunate that foundation ni iko msingi ambao iko lazima you prove to these people that you're not lying. Na ni kitu ambao imeletwa na viongozi wengine, na kwa ile previous government nilitoka imechangia leo hii, kwa sababu utapata kuna vitu zilifanyika kwa ile previous government na kwa sababu during campaign aliahidi kwa furaha na labda haijakuwa implemented, sasa ndio inaingia sasa ni uongo. Fanya kitu yenye right. Hata wakikwambia ni uongo, wewe fanya, waambie, alafu uombe Mwenyezi Mungu akupe nguvu uitimize. Muda ni msema kweli, time will tell. Mtu akikwambia nakupenda sana, yeye mpe time. Akikudanganya akwambia nakupenda, yeye anaweza kufa juu yako. Give that person time, ndio utajua the true color of that person. Kama anakupenda ataweka ring kwa mkono wako. Kama akupendi atapita na beshte yako. So it is just a matter of time.
Lakini sasa watu wengine wanasema they don't have the luxury of time, because as time moves by things are, deteriorating, things are getting expensive, people are, maisha inakuwa ngumu.
Naweza kuambia serikali sio kama fundi wa cherehani ambao unampelekea nguo unamwambia kesho naenda nao wedding ama Friday naenda nao wedding itengeneze. No. Kila kitu kwa serikali ina mikakati. Tunaweza mnyonge lakini haki yake mpe. Ni miaka ngapi tangu William Samoei Ruto achukua uongozi? How many years? 2 years. Na amechukua uongozi kwa serikali ilikuwa 10 years ile ilipita, ambapo alikuwa deputy na hakuanga na make decision. So I think tutakuwa wachoyo radhi. Hata ukileta mwingine bado tu atakuwa na madhaifu na mapungufu. Let's give William Samoei Ruto time mpaka 2027. Ukisikia amekuboa sana, weka kura yako. Vote him out.
Ongea na kura yako.
Ongea na kura yako.
Okay, all right. Peter, what do you think of that? What should the president speak on the 21st of Thursday that will help, easing the pressure in the public?
As my brother has observed, we have no authority to advise the president, but of course we have opinions about what should happen, what should be addressed. And before I also mention my opinion, let me also reflect on what happened last week when the bishops said that the president has been lying too much. In my observation, that was not a very progressive statement from the bishops, outrightly tagging the president of our country, and a president who was elected by the majority of the Kenyan citizen, tagging him as a liar. That would kind of dampen the mood of every citizen to imagine that men of great authority in the society, in the caliber of bishops, can openly, through a press conference, tag the president as a liar. To me, it was a very low moment in our country, and I would really pray to God that next time the bishops have a chance to do a press conference, to exercise some restraint in name calling and branding leaders. It's going to observe that the leaders we have were elected by the majority of Kenyans who majorly are Christians. So we also made that decision having seen the great support the current leadership had from churches. And instead of calling the president liars, the church should have actually apologized to the nation for supporting a president who has not delivered, not because he's a liar, maybe probably because of other reasons that like I earlier observed, that those around him are not competent enough to come up with doing proper foundations to support his vision. And that's where I would advise him to do an intentional re-engineering. The other weakness we have is about his communication department. Those that are in various leadership positions, probably in the central government and also in the political system, they need to be very effective foot soldiers so that wherever they are around the country, they are communicating in the simplest term possible to Wanjiku so that he can understand what the president is doing. So what we see today in the current administration is a situation where it is only the president who steps out to speak about government policies and decisions, to defend them, to explain them to Wanjiku. This is not enough. All the people structure from top down, even as we talk about bottom-up economic agenda, the better, communication should be top down so that the grassroots are well briefed by the people they interact with every day. There should be foot soldiers on the ground who are well briefed, who go to workshops and seminars to be inducted or know the government wants to do and why it wants to do it, and who can also ask questions on behalf of Wanjiku so that at the end of that workshop, when they go home, they have capacity to state, to explain, and to anchor those government policies in those villages and small towns. This is lacking in the current administration. Okay. And I would single out that as the biggest weakness in the current administration, because sisi kwa ground, you see me, I'm also a leader in the ground, but I have not been called, not even to a single workshop, to be told as a government, as UDA government, this is what we are doing, and this is where we are doing it, this is how it will impact the grassroots, and these are the, you know, we also bring our feedback, ask questions, probe, support, oppose, so that at the end of the workshop, we have a common voice. Okay. And then when you go to the ground, in our small tea kiosks, those are the things we explain.
You talk about.
Yes.
All
now
right.
we are not empowered. So to me, it is a weakness. And if there is anyone watching this, and is a person who can speak this to the ears that are up there, kindly do, so that we can try to bring about an attitude change to our people. I believe that people are not reacting the way they are primarily because the government and its policies are purely bad, but it's because there is information gap. Okay. Kutoka juu kufika mashinani.
There's
Asante.
something. All right. Now, as we close, I want you to just to tell people where they can get you, and then I will finish with Yakub. Where can people get you on your social media handles, and maybe, yeah, your parting
I'm
shots?
available on TikTok at Jeru_Messi. I'm also available on Facebook, Jeru Peter. I'm also available on X space, Jeru at Jeru_Messi. Messi because I do a lot of football. The whole day yesterday I was in Kitui. I'm a match commissioner with the FKF. I was commissioning a match between Kenya Navy and Dynamo FC of Kitui. So that's the genesis of Messi.
Okay.
Thank you.
Interesting. Thank you very much for your time. And to you, Yakub, I don't know if your social media reads Yakub or it's still Casypool, because you said you're changing it everywhere.
Kwa sababu ya time na kwa sababu ni kidogo, sitaongea kuhusu my social media platform, because I'm not interested someone to follow me there. If you want to follow me, look for me.
Okay.
I'll just wind up by saying this, which is very important. Tuache ukabila. Hiyo tu. Tupendane kama wa Kenya, kwa sababu hii Kenya ni ya sisi wote. Na sisi wote tumekuja hii Kenya. Hakuna mtu alikuanga ni kwa hapa Kenya. Tukianza hapa kwa mlima ni watu wa Kongo. Ukienda pale coast ni wa Yemen na wa Oman. Ukikuja hapa kwa Wajaluo kwetu, sisi kutoka Bargazel ndio kwetu Sudan. Ukienda kwa Masai hapa kwao wanatoka Rwanda. Waluya Uganda. Hii Kenya tumepatana sisi wo. Usiseme Kenya ni ya mtu fulani. Hata mandugu zetu wa Somali hapa ni kwao, kwa sababu tumekutana sisi sisi wote. Na tunamalizia kwa kusema hivi, tupendane, tuoane, tusiangalie jinsia na dini. Hapana. Tupendane, tukue kitu kimoja. Na tuzidi kuoana, ndio tumalize ile maneno mengine ile ya upande wengine.
Tupendane, tuoane. Hey, way to close it. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming on board and sharing your amazing insights. We had some good laugh and some good talk right here. So that has been, I will try not to bite my tongue, Alhaj Yakub Malimweli. Most people know him as Casypool, but he has changed. He has converted and has changed his name since. And we've also had Peter Njeru, the chairman of Utawala Ward, sharing with us the sentiments on the state of the nation. I hope you've enjoyed it. Talk to us at Y254 channel. The hashtag is Y in the morning. We take a short break. Brian Sakwa is coming up next with yet another interesting conversation. Stay with us.